I see again and again people saying that high-end office chairs are too expensive. Now, expensive is a relative term. It might be $300 for some people, $3,000 for other people. So my goal is really to get you in the most comfortable chair that'll fit in your budget. I'm going to talk about 3 chairs that are in that $150 to $350 price range. And yes, these 3 have been BTOD top recommendations for years now. But why should you trust me? I've tested over 100 office chairs looking at features, adjustments, and I've found some of those common deal breaker problems. Starting off with the Ticova ergonomic chair, you can sometimes get this chair for $120 with a $50 off coupon. It has seat height adjustment, fully adjustable arms, it has height and depth adjustable lumbar, so you're getting a lot for only that $120. Honestly, I don't know how they can even ship you a chair that functions for that price. The mesh backrest is actually better than what you'd expect at this price range. I've tested $1,000 chairs that have worse backrests than this Ticova chair. You can lock the recline in 3 different positions. Personally, I like to leave it unlocked so I can just freely recline back and then just dial in the tension to where I like it to be. The 2-way adjustable lumbar support really does have a good amount of range. I actually found that when I dialed down the lumbar to the lowest amount, it still was pretty aggressive. So if you're someone that doesn't want a lot of lumbar, you might actually want to stay away from the Ticova. I really like the 2-way adjustable headrest. It has a nice soft fabric, which I actually prefer over the mesh. And because of those adjustments, you can really fit it nicely into the curve of your neck. So as you can tell, I've been pretty positive so far, but unfortunately, coming to the seat section, I'm gonna have some problems here. I actually find that I kind of bottom through the seat after time, so it doesn't have the thickest pad, so definitely not the best area of the chair here, and it is a little bit on the small side, so if you have a larger frame, the Ticova might not be the best fit for you. Where a lot of these lower price chairs really suffer is the arms, and while it does have some adjustments, they're a little bit on the janky side, and they don't have a ton of range. Again, it's nice to have those adjustments, but they don't come narrow enough and they don't actually go short enough for me. The pads are really on the firm side. Personally, I like a little more cush for when I'm putting some weight into the pads. And as you can see, I actually cut my finger pretty bad while I was just making some adjustments, just got pinched underneath. So kind of watch out for that. Final thing, one of the arms is actually a little higher than the other one. So not a big deal, but this is one of the things you'll find when you're buying a lower price chair. The trade-off for all these adjustments is the build quality is just not that great. I don't expect the chair to last super long. So you do get 30 days free to return the chair, and it does have a 1-year warranty. I wouldn't buy this chair if you plan on spending 8 hours working in it and then want to chill in it for another 2 hours at night. You're just not going to be comfortable for that many hours. Maybe a couple hours at a time and then give yourself some time to move around, stand up. It's going to make the chair more comfortable for you. I really don't expect you're going to get more than 2 years out of this chair because of the build quality. So that ends up being about $85 a year you're spending on it. So is it comfortable enough to be worth $85 a year? That's going to be up to you. Stay with me because I know we can find an even better comfort per dollar. Just a reminder, make sure to follow our links in the description because some of these chairs have multiple listings with different prices. Another BTOD long stay recommendation is the Lamia Atlas chair. Now this will bump you up to about $270, but it often goes on sale for $250 and we've even seen it as low as $225. You are going to get a lot more premium looks and premium features with this chair, so it does warrant a higher price tag. The mesh backrest on the Atlas is definitely its best feature. It has the built-in lumbar curve that perfectly fits right in the curve of your lower back. A lot of people, even different sizes, are going to find this is really comfortable. You'll see this is very similar to the Eurotech Vera chair, which is in the higher price range, but it has that same sweeping curve into the lumbar region. This backrest is a step up from the Ticova in almost every way. It has all that lumbar support, but I don't find it to be as pokey as the Ticova sometimes feels. The chair is a nice synchro tilt recline and it does have a recline lock, but again, I like to just keep it unlocked and then just dial in that tension so you can recline as you want. With that height adjustable lumbar, it does add that little extra support, but honestly, the shape of the frame is doing most of the work here. The headrest is nice and wide with both height and pivot adjustment to really help you dial it into the right place. What I like is it's also far enough back that it's there when you want it, but it also stays out of the way when you don't want it. So we already have a better backrest, better lumbar, and probably equal headrest to the Ticova, but the seat is where the Atlas really takes a jump over the Ticova. So the seat is not that thick, plush seat. It's actually more on the firm side, but it still does give you good support, and you sink into it enough to feel really comfortable, but not locked in place. If we're talking about that price per comfort ratio, this is probably the most comfortable seat under $300 in a chair. It also has that seat depth adjustment, which really helps fit a larger range of people. The 4-way adjustable arms also help to fit that larger range of people. Like the Ticova, the arms are a bit of a disappointment here. Not necessarily a deal breaker, but something you'll want to consider when you're buying the chair. So they do have some adjustments to fit your body, but the arms don't really come in quite enough. And one thing that we've heard people complain about, and we can see it ourselves, is that the arm pads do slide around a little bit too much. The build quality is really nice, especially for that $270 price range. If I didn't know any better and I had to guess, I would think that this was a $400 or $500 chair. It does come with a 3-year warranty, so Lamia expects this chair to last at least 3+ years. So back to that concept of dollars per year, the Lamia chair should last 3 years. That means it's about $90 a year. So this is almost the exact same as a Ticova, but you'll be sitting in a much more comfortable chair for that 3 years. So to wrap this up, the Atlas is an easy pick for me if you have to stay under that $300 price point. But keep in mind here, when we have done our tier lists, Ryan, Greg, and I have all come to the consensus that this is still only a C tier chair. So again, we can do better. So as I teased in my intro, we've finally come to a high-end office chair that fits in this price range. We've ranked the Amia as our #1 best value for years now. But what if I told you that you can get this chair that we rank as A+ for only $33 a year? So before I break down that price, let's talk about the seat. The Amia actually has an S-tier seat. It has just that right amount of cushioned support without ever bottoming out in it. Even though it doesn't have the thickest looking pad, it does have a good amount of support. You sink in just the right amount. This allows you to still have a lot of movement in the chair, and it also has a front edge that has a bit of flex to it. Not as much as a Leap, but still plenty for me. We actually like this seat so much that BTOD found a way to put this Amia seat on a Leap chair to build our Lamia. The backrest is also very comfortable. It has some flexibility again, but not as much as that Leap chair. And it also has a good amount of lumbar support with height adjustment. Keep in mind, unlike our previous 2 chairs, this does have a fabric upholstered backrest, so it might be a little warmer if you tend to be hot all the time. I might sound like a broken record here, but I'm back to S tier with the arms. They have a ton of adjustments, even going low enough, which I really like, and having plenty of depth and pivot adjustment. Helps fit a larger range of people. The pads also stay in place nicely without sliding around when you don't want them to. And those pads are nicely cushioned. They're not quite the thick pad as an Aeron, but they still have some of the best we've ever seen, giving them that S tier rating. The Amia is in Steelcase's line of high performance seating. That means the build quality is excellent. That doesn't mean it's a bunch of metal and a super heavy chair. It's actually made of high quality flexible plastics. The upholstery is also a durable yet still soft fabric. The biggest downside of this chair as a whole is that the looks can be a little bit on the average side, but that is a subjective thing. So if you're wondering how can you get this $1,000 Amia chair for only $33 a year, BTOD is selling used Amias for $342 after a 5% off coupon. These chairs are going to be fully professionally cleaned and 100% tested for full functionality. You might see some small scrapes or marks on the chairs, but we do have very strict qualifications for what we will send out as a used chair. These chairs will also be delivered in custom packaging to ensure they get to you safely. Now, I challenge you to find a better deal on Marketplace, eBay, or even Craigslist. You might find something that's similar price, but it's not going to be backed by a reputable company with a warranty. Now, that price per dollar was even including the $50 upcharge to make the warranty from 1 year up to 12 years. With this upgrade, you can feel confident that you're going to have a comfortable working chair for 12 years. If you want to see a full overview of what we do with our as-is Amia chairs, check out this video next.